How many of you have done a blood sacrifice for your hobby using one of these? Stay tuned and I'm going to show you a much safer way to cut. If this is your first time here, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and also hit like if you like the video. It being close to the holidays, I see a lot of people making gifts, and that is great. I love made gifts, but I also see a lot of people doing blood sacrifices because they're using these sharp utensils. Now, there are times that you do need these, but I recently found out that you can get these things called the Canary Cutters, and basically it's a little serrated blade, and this thing is absolutely magical, and you can't do this with your utility knife. This thing will still cut through EVA foam. It will cut through foam rubber, it will cut through foam core board, and it'll also cut through cardboard. It is absolutely magical, and it will also make it much easier to get your kids involved in a lot of these hobbies and not worrying about them giving a blood sacrifice to the hobby gods. So a couple of things. You can look up these Canary Cutters, and I'll leave a link down below on Amazon, and they're about $12, and they are super high quality, awesome, and they don't dull like a standard utility knife does. I was at the dollar store the other day and I noticed these steak knives had almost the exact same kind of micro serrations that the Canary Cutter does. The package of 4 of these costs about $2, and these things don't dull like a hobby cutter does. So let's just look at this. Everybody understands that you can take your standard xacto knife and cut foam core board, and it cuts really nice, but after a little while these things dull. And when they dull, you need to get a sharpener and give her a little bit of an edge. Now, and that also includes this guy. But these Canary Cutters, this one here is about a month old, and I haven't sharpened it yet, and it still cuts as good as it did on day one. So let's just get rid of this little piece here. I'm gonna make this quick. Here's the Canary Cutter. Same deal. Now there's a couple things that are really nice is I didn't press absolutely hard on this, and you'll notice that it didn't cut all the way through, so that we still have that paper edge. So if you do remote control aircraft like you can see on Flight Test, this is a perfect cut. And if you want to go all the way through, you just press a little harder, go a second time, and it cuts all the way through. Same deal if you want to do bevels. Making bevels with this is a little better too, and the reason why is that there's a little more drag than what you would have with a standard utility knife or with a xacto knife. And because of that, you don't end up wobbling around, so you end up getting a nice cut. Foam rubber, almost entirely different, super rubbery, but again, you come through and do a couple of cuts and you can cut all the way through this stuff. It's a little harder because it deforms. It's a little harder to do the bevel cuts and whatnot, but the fact remains is that if I rub my finger along the edge of this blade, I'm gonna bleed. You run your finger along the edge of this blade, nothing happens. Now let's go into EVA foam. The same deal. Don't cut yourself. Come through. There's the edge of that cut. If you want to do a nice bevel cut, instead of using your Dremel tool, just come in at an angle, give her a couple of swipes. And granted, you have to do a couple of more swipes, but this is something that's kid friendly or klutz friendly in my case. Softer EVA foam, the stuff that bends a little easier. Same deal. And it cuts all the way through, no problem. So like I was saying, you can get these steak knives. Let's just go back and go through some of these things. Here's that EVA foam. If anything, the soft EVA foam cuts better with the steak knife. And why would you want to use the steak knife instead of the Canary Cutter? Canary Cutter, as good as it is $12. A pack of 4 of these is $2. And you can see it cuts just as good on here. Let's go to the foam rubber with the steak knife. Same deal, cuts through it like butter. And foam core board. Sorry about that. You can cut through that foam, no problem. Leaves a really nice cut. Again, if you want to do a bevel cut, come in and do that. And the big key thing here that I like is the fact that because there is more drag, you're not wandering all over the place like you would with a utility knife. So it's short and sweet, but basically what it comes down to is there's really no need for the blood sacrifice. And also you want to get your kids involved and you don't trust them with knives. Heck, I don't trust myself with knives. The Canary Cutter is awesome. Even better yet, if you want to save some money, go get the steak knives. The key thing here is make sure that you have the micro serrations. And I want you also to look at this. I'm pressing against that blade and I'm rubbing my finger back and forth. Absolutely no cutting. No way am I going to do it with this blade. Or this blade. Granted, they have their place, but this is more safe. You guys have a Merry Christmas and enjoy doing some more hobbying. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you like this video, please share it and also hit like.